What it is today, I'm going to be talking about. So I came up with the strategy, right? Who, what, when, where, why for my videos. That's the layout I'm going with. Today is going to be about semiconductors, right? If you've been living in 2024, there's no way I don't think you could have went even 2020. Even the word chips, I don't think there's no way you could have survived these 4 years and not heard the word chips or semiconductors. Wonder why it affected prices. Heard it on the news. Probably heard the name Nvidia. Heard, if that's you, I know you heard it. And who this video is for? This is directed to a person that has heard about semiconductors. Why is it important? Why do I care? Why is it on the news? Why are people even talking about it? What do I need to know about it? And then some people even want to know, like, how do you invest in semiconductors? How can you make money off semiconductors? That's what this video is for. If you're curious about semiconductors, that's what this is for, right? Without further ado, we just going to jump right into the video because I keep making long videos, but I just want to be thorough. You know what I mean? I hate when I used to go on YouTube, not used to, but when I go on YouTube and I see someone talking about something and they just give me a little, you know what I mean? No homo. If you got a candy bar, you give me a little nibble. Don't give me a little, give me the whole bar. No homo. Give me the whole bar. You feel me? So I need everything. If I type in a question and want some understanding, give me some understanding. Don't just take me. Don't take me. You know what I mean? Take me. Give me the good understanding. Anyways, so what are semiconductors, right? Semiconductors are essentially, so some people, I've looked it up. Not looked it up, but this is my definition. It is the brain. The computer will say the semiconductor is essentially the brain of electronics, which is true. It's just like our brain. Now, when you have electronics, right, you have all these different pieces in electronics. Semiconductors are in every electronic we got. The phone, the stove, the refrigerator, nuclear, it's in the military, drones, it's in cameras, it's in computers, it's in cars, it's in everything. The semiconductor is basically the brain of the component. How does your phone know to, your phone has many semiconductor chips in it. Cameras have it, not lights, but computer screens, everything in the world almost has semiconductors. And I mean, it's just like the semiconductor or the chip of the component basically tells it what to do. A component, you have all these components to a computer, but the computers don't know when to cut on this, when to do this without the chip, without the semiconductors, right? So that's a easy explanation. It's just like your brain to the body. When you build a component, you have a bunch of components around, but the semiconductor or the actual chip part is what controls the components. That's your brain. You with me? Stay with me. Why is this important? Why do you see it on the news so much? Why is it important? Why should you care? Because they are the most important thing in the world right now. Even to the point where America is about to be in war or have war tensions with China over semiconductors, right? Why are they essential to everything? Because they're in everything. And most importantly, on a geopolitical level, y'all like how I use that. Geopolitical means basically like, why does semiconductors why are they causing so much tension in the world, right? One, because like I just told you, semiconductors are in everything. And as we know, the world moves towards AI and more digital and more computerized. We know that means we need more chips, right? We need more chips, right? And even to the point where chips are so important in so many different war vehicles, not war vehicles, but war systems, defense systems, nuclear defense systems, radars, all that. Chips are important, and it's causing geopolitical tension because whatever country has the best chips can essentially have the best military weapons. Yeah, that's what it is. I'm just gonna give you some stats I wrote down just to why is this important? The semiconductor industry this year is worth $573 billion. That's with a B, right? They said by 2030. I said it's 573 billion with a B. B-I-L-L-I-O-N. Billion. In 2030, that's 6 years, they say it's projected to go to 1.38 trillion. right? By 2030. Smartphones annually use 120 billion worth of semiconductor chips. They say EV cars use approximately 6,000 per vehicle. In just 2022, we are in 2024. In 2022, the semiconductor industry was only worth 42 billion with a B. Mind you, it's 2024 and they saying it's worth 573 billion right now. That tells you how fast we are moving, especially with AI. All these AI chips are nothing. All this AI stuff is nothing but computers. It's nothing but processing units. It's nothing but chips. It's nothing but chips. That tells you how fast this thing is ramping up. In 2022, we were just at 42 billion. The industry was worth 42 billion. Now the industry is worth 573 billion. I already said the United States is basically going to be in. Let me explain. So why should you care? That's why you should care. How serious is this? Let me just take you to some articles. I like to talk about. I like to show people because a lot of people don't know how to research. A lot of people don't know how to. This should help some people understand something. So I'm gonna Google here, right? I'm just going to show you an example. Facebook spends on semiconductors. I don't know. Let's just give an example. Mark Zuckerberg in January 2024 indicates Meta is spending billions of dollars on Nvidia chips, right? And I know you know that name. Nvidia. Let's just type in big spending from companies on semiconductor industry. Let's just type that in. Let's just see. Everybody's spending with them, right? Dang, I want to look up tech companies spending with. Let me just type in spending with Nvidia, because Nvidia is a semiconductor company, right? How many different companies are using Nvidia? Google, Meta, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple. You know what I'm saying? These are all the companies that we use every day. These are companies that we use every day, and some of the biggest companies in the world. When people talk about the Magnificent Seven of the stock market, those companies right there I just named carry the stock market, literally. They call it the Magnificent Seven for a reason. When they move, the market moves, meaning they're the most valuable companies in the world, meaning the most powerful companies in the world. If the 7 most powerful companies in the world are spending billions on semiconductors, you would think that's a big deal. Now, some people wonder, how can they get into semiconductors? What is semiconductors? Or how can I make money off it? Why should I care? Why you should care is because I just explained to you how big of the industry is, right? It's almost like we could look back and look at our ancestors, our grandparents, our great-grandparents. Why you didn't invest in Apple when it was blah, 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 blah? Why you didn't invest in this when it was da, 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 da? Why you didn't, right? We all had that story, right? But if you don't wake up and start taking action and start paying attention to the things around you, your kids or your grandkids or your descendants are going to be saying the same exact thing about you. And one opportunity you can change that is with semiconductors. Now, I probably sound like, I don't know if this sound like a sales pitch, but this ain't no sales pitch, yo. Because one thing about it, I don't care if you invest in one semiconductor. I don't care if you ever look up a semiconductor after you get off this video. One thing about me, I got mine. Hey, look, this is what I tell people. I made this platform to share information, to share perspective, to share information, meaning this may click. You may not take action out of this video or whatever, but you may ride down the street. It may be for you months down the line. Some I said may click and spark some. I'm here for who I'm here for. You know what I'm saying? This ain't for everybody. This, whatever. Some people want this information. That's what it's here for. Some people take action off of it. Some people start paying attention. That's just what it is. Anyways, what did I stop there? Did I stop at how? I stopped at how. How can you get into the semiconductor industry, right? So the semiconductor industry, right? Now, this is not going to be a straight investment video either, but I will provide you with. I want to keep it basic level, man, because this can get long, right? You can buy individual stocks in semiconductor companies, or you could do something called a ETF, right? So let me explain to you. I'm sure people know what stocks is. It's pieces of a company, right? But say for instance you don't want to. I don't know which semiconductor company it's gonna be good. Even though I just told you about. Even though you know about Nvidia, right? Nvidia is obviously not the only one. One of the main components I want to tell you is this company right here called Taiwan Semiconductor, right? TS. Let me just type in Taiwan Semiconductor. Taiwan Semiconductor, right? Now you remember I just told you how the United States is basically going to get in a war or heating up to a war with China over semiconductors. Why is that, right? Why is that? They say this is the most important company in the world. Why is it the most important company in the world? Because I just explained to you that semiconductors is the growing industry, right? It's probably the number one industry. Tech itself is the growing industry of the future. The semiconductor industry, like I just told you, in 2022 was worth $42 billion. It is now worth $573 billion. In 5 years, they projected to be worth $1.5 trillion. You know who make all these semiconductors? You know who make all the chips? You know who make all the chips? Bingo. I just told you. Taiwan Semiconductor. This company is located in Taiwan, right? Now, one thing that I'm not going to get too deep into history right now, but China feels like Taiwan is part of China still. If you don't know, Taiwan broke away from China, but China feels like Taiwan is part of them still, and they want Taiwan back, right? And of course, you want Taiwan back because Taiwan is one of the most important places in the world right now. Not to the United States, in the world behind this company. Let me give you some stats on TSM. TSM makes chips, right? TSM makes chips for Apple, Nvidia, AMD, Qualcomm, Texas Instruments, Intel. Let me tell you this right. They make chips for these companies. So anybody you hear purchases from Nvidia, they purchase from TSM. See, this is the thing you need to understand why TSM is a foundry. They make the chips. These companies, Nvidia, AMD, Apple, they didn't go ahead and program the chip. See, it's different layers of the semiconductor. This is different layers of the semiconductor ecosystem, right? And I'm going to put you onto that real quick, right? So people say, how can I make money off semiconductors? I'm just going to show you. Or what are the parts of the semiconductor industry, whatever. I'm going to just show you right here. Semiconductor ecosystem. See, everybody has a part. All of the people don't do the same thing, right? So you have, obviously, we go, boom, semiconductor ecosystem. You see how this picture here, I'm going to zoom in on that. See how this picture here, you have it blocked off into groups. You see here, it's design. These companies actually design the chip. Just like a car designer. You got different brands that design cars. Then you see here we have manufacturing. Can you see my cursor? Can you? Dang, you can't see my cursor, can you? Oh well. Then you see over here you got a block that says I wish you could, bro. Dang, that's crazy. Then you see here you got a block that says manufacturing. These companies manufacture the chip. So you got one company. So say for instance, Nvidia they want to make this chip, but they don't have the components. They don't have the equipment. They don't have the assembly line. They don't have the thing to actually bring this chip to life. All we can do is design it. That's what the design people come in with. Then you need manufacturing. See, the manufacturers are the necessity. That's why TSM is so important, because TSM is one of those only companies that can design this certain advanced chip. They're the only companies that can make a chip right now, I think, 3 nanometers. That's so small, bro. You can't even see 3 nanometers. And I hope I'm not talking over somebody's head, bro. But like, I think, let me see how small is 3 nanometers. How small is 3 nanometers? 1/1000th of a meter. Come on, man. 1 billion. Yo, so you can't see that. It says significantly smaller than anything visible to the naked eye. These people can make chips smaller than the naked eye, yo. Excuse me. These people are making chips smaller than what you can see. And TSM is the only company right now that has the ability to do that, which is the most advanced chip. Again, how important is TSMC? The only company in the world that can make this best chip. The rest of those companies, that's why everybody in the design field, that's why I just named you Apple, Nvidia, AMD, Qualcomm, Texas Instruments, Intel, just to name a few, go to TSM. So essentially, all these companies in design are reliant upon TSM. Majority of them, I'm going to say that. Not all of them, because you can get other chips made, but at the highest quality, ain't nobody messing with TSM. TSM is the big dog as far as quality in the chip space, right? So check this out. So you got the designers, then you got the manufacturers, right? But see, the thing is, the manufacturers, when you got a manufacturing plant, you know you fill the manufacturing plant up with equipment. Most of them people don't make the equipment. So then you have a different sector down here, you see, for equipment. You can see my cursor now. You have a different sector down here for equipment. So you realize it's a flow chart. When you want something made, you need a manufacturing plant. Boom, TSM got the manufacturing plant. They fill it with equipment from, let's just say, ASML to design the chips from these people. So it all really, so when you want to talk about getting into the chips industry, or you want to talk about investing, you would think about investing in the foundry or the equipment. Now, all of these are, I guess you could say, are good, are going to be good, but you don't want to just put your money in. You want to rock with the best. You want to rock with the best. If you betting, right, you got LeBron James, Boobie Gibson, that's disrespectful. If you got the best, you got Michael Jordan, LeBron James, let's say Kevin Durant, all in that category, boom, up there. They don't go to, look, I'm not getting too deep. They don't necessarily go together, but I'm just saying. Then you got other good players. You gonna roll with the best. You rolling with the star player. And the star players for these sectors for manufacturing is TSMC. The star player for equipment is ASML. Let me tell you about ASML. ASML is the only ASML. Let me tell you this, man. What's that equipment they got? ASML has a, dang, this thing is huge. Let me make this smaller. ASML is the only company in the world that can make this. This is how crazy this stuff is. ASML is the only company in the world that we just gonna rock like that. ASML, let me see machine costs. Let me just explain to you. Y'all see that? ASML latest chip making machine weighs as two airplanes and costs $380 million. If you think I'm lying, okay, we could go somewhere else. This is how when you research something, you want to go research multiple sources, right? ASML chip machines are too expensive. Look, as soon as I Google an article, you see ASML, I just told you about it, and you see TSMC. When you look at any semiconductor article, you're going to see these two people mentioned. They the big dogs. ASML and TSMC and Nvidia go hand in hand. They need this machine to manufacture these special chips. The highest quality chips comes from ASML, and they the only people in the world that can make it. The only one. Look at this. EUV. What is this? ASML has, and then you can even Google. I'm just telling you how this stuff is done, man. Like this is how you gotta think about. Okay, why should I care? Okay, now I see the revolution. I'm in the middle of a tech revolution. Now let me see how I can help myself. Let me see how this can apply to me. Is ASML important? This is typing, is ASML an important company? This is even AI. ASML machines are the most complex ever built. Machines roughly the size of a bus. Second most valuable European tech company. ASML machines are used to create the most advanced chips, which are smaller, more powerful, and energy efficient. Vital component. I'm just saying, man. So, and if you look up, is TSMC important too? Man, I got my notebook all on my doggone keyboard, man. Hey, man, look. Produces nearly 90% of the world's most advanced chips. That company Let me get this right. That company produces 90% of the world's most advanced chips. That's 100. That's all you can't ask for. That's come on, man. And you trying to tell me people why would you not invest in that company? This is my and people talk about chips are a bubble, just like everything else. Oh, it's a bubble. It's a bubble. I can't wait for the bubble to crash. You don't even understand what a bubble is. A bubble is like fake. A bubble is anticipated. A bubble is drawn up. A bubble's value is inflated by anticipation. Is not produced with. It doesn't have real factual or real money going behind it yet. That's what a bubble like. They said the .com bubble. So what happened on the .com bubble? People was coming up with ideas for websites and anticipating, okay, we're going to sell them. We're going to sell this on our website, and this website will be worth this much. People were throwing those figures out there in projections. See, the thing about semiconductors is the only way semiconductors can go out is if technology stops advancing. And one thing I know for sure, I can bet my bottom dollar on that. Technology will not reverse. We are not going back to the Stone Ages. If anything, we are getting more futurized. The more components you put in these cars, the all this self-driving, all this, the more technified the world gets, the more semiconductors you need. So ask yourself, if semiconductors are bubble, if you believe semiconductors are bubble, you are basically telling me you think technology is going to reverse in the world. We're not going to advance in technology. We're going to decline and go backwards. That's what you believe. And if you believe that, hey, look, man, I just told you, my only job here is to present information. I can't tell you how you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make them drink. Once I tell you and I put you on, the blood is off my hands. All I can say is, I told you so. What I can tell you, I can sleep good at night. But if I don't tell you, I feel bad. But if I can tell you and let you know, then it's whatever you want to do with it. I know it helped somebody. I know this got to somebody. I know somebody learned something. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. That's all that really matters. Now, let me go back. I done got way off topic, man. I done told you about this company called Taiwan Semi, right? I done showed you the semiconductor ecosystem, right? These are different parts of the semiconductor sector you can invest in, right? Now, I would tell you, you obviously would want to buy individual shares in this company here. Maybe the ASML, the TSMC, maybe. You could go over here too. But I like to roll with the big dog that's essential. See, can't none of these design folk make it if it ain't for the manufacturing. And this is the most prominent manufacturer. What I didn't even get to tell y'all was TSMC, right? It's a bubble. It's a bubble. The United States just gave TSMC $6.6 billion to build their plant in the United States. See, what people don't TSMC was literally located in Taiwan, which is another reason we beefing with China. Because one, China wants to take back Taiwan, but the United States cannot allow China to take back Taiwan, knowing that company I just told you produced 90% of the chips to the world is in Taiwan. That means that company is now in China's hands. And I just told you with a semiconductor, it's important to the military. It's important to all technology. Whoever, like they say, the next war is going to be fought with drones, cyber attacks, all that. What is the backbone of cyber attacks, drones, all of that, missiles? What's the backbone of that? Chips, semiconductors, chips. None of that stuff is flying without that. It's a national security threat at this point to let Taiwan be overtook by China. So the United States has been giving Taiwan money and supporting Taiwan to make them a plant over here. They even got one in Arizona right now. They say, hold on, because they know it's happening. Taiwan, this is just started this year. They have been manufacturing that plant in the United States. The first plant they're going to have in the United States. Why is that essential for the United States? Because they know a war is brewing, or just the simple fact of if they do decide to try to take Taiwan, and while we in war, we can't lose all our chips. So we want them to build a factory over here. I'm just going to show you how you Google that too. Right? United States grants to TSMC. Today they announced that. Not today, but this was that day, . Total investment This is what they putting in Arizona right now. Bubble though. Money's not getting spent like this for a bubble. I'm just letting you know something. Right? Right? I have another crazy stat for y'all. In 2021, 26% of Taiwan Semiconductors revenue came from Apple alone. 2021, their revenue, right? 2021 TSMC revenue. Let me just Google that. In 2021, they made $56 billion in 2021. A net of 21. That's a lot, yo. They almost netted half. They almost netted. That's crazy. They netted. It's like a 50% net over. That's not 50. Well, it's a little less than 50 because 25 would be. But that's a lot, man. That's over 40%. Right? So, I'm just showing you the importance of this company, man. TSMC 2023 revenue. How much did they make last year? Last year they made $69 billion. Net 27 billion. Oh, I'm not even looking at the 2023 total revenue 70 billion. They net 27 billion. I ain't even show you. I didn't even know y'all was looking at me, man. I'm tripping. 2021 when they said Apple was 26% of their revenue alone. Now, what was I supposed to be showing you? So I showed you this. I'm at 27 minutes, man. Gosh. Anyways, since I showed you, I asked you how you can get into, how you can invest in semiconductors, right? So I showed you the ecosystem, right? Now, say you one of those people, you like to diversify. You want to just, you don't necessarily want to pick one of these companies. Even you scared. You just want to have margin of safety. I respect it. Now, you could do something called ETFs, right? Now, I'm going to type in on Google semiconductor ETFs. That's all I typed in. Now, ETF basically is like you can buy, instead of picking next, you can basically put your money together and buy a little piece of them all. You know what I'm saying? You can put your money together and buy a piece of all of the industry. That's what an ETF is. Instead of picking one stock, say, hey, I want to invest in ASML. Let's just say, I don't know which one I want to invest in, but I know I want to invest in the semiconductor industry. You can't go wrong that way. You can't go wrong that way because we want to know why. Of course, you may not get the growth of, if one individual company is pulling, you may not get the most growth out of that. If one company is running, then you would have picked that. But you still get some kind of growth. And it's way safer, to be honest. So, excuse me. Semiconductor ETFs, right? You have one called SMH. This is on the stock market, right? Stock tickers, right? SMH stock, right? Now, SMH, what is SMH? It stands for, I don't know, that's just the semiconductor ETF, right? Now, when you look at these semiconductor ETFs, right, you want to look at what's in them. SMH. So every ETF has something called holdings. So I'm going to type in SMH holdings, right? Holdings mean, and I'm going to go to the side here where it says, what am I buying? So if I buy some SMH on a stock, what am I buying? Inside SMH, the collage of companies that you are buying or investing in, you have Nvidia, TSM. Let me zoom in. Go there. Boom. Inside there, 23%. You see here, 23% of the ETF is Nvidia. 13% of it is Taiwan Semi. 7% AVGO, AMD, ASML. Remember I talked about them too? And this is the percentage that each one of these are in here. All of these are in here. You can see some of these, obviously these same names match up from the semiconductor ecosystem, right? So you can see this is one semiconductor ecosystem you can invest in. All of these companies are in here. So if you put, and I mean, I'm just going to show you the performance of that stock. Over the last 6 months, I'm going to do over the last 3 years. Investing in semiconductors, right? What? What is this thing talking about? SMH was what? Ignore that, please. I'm just going to show you like realistic numbers of what this thing did. Over the last 6 months, down 2%. Over the whole year, it's up 46% on the year. 46% on just the year. That's year to date. So from last December 5th to this December 5th right now, 47%. Meaning if you had $1,000 invested into this ETF, you would now have $1,500. If you don't know, 50% is crazy for investment, right? Over the last year, 56%. Over the last 5 years, 270%. If you just put in $100, you would have over $300. You would gain $270 off of $100. If you put in $1,000, you would gain $2,700 off just $1,000 if you was invested in SMH. That's just an example. Now we're gonna go to Nvidia. Nvidia stock over the last year. Come on, oh my goodness. Nvidia is up 211% over the last year. If you put $100 into this last year, you would profit $211. If you put $10,000 into this, if you put $10,000 into this last year, you would profit $20,000. And you can see how this number keeps getting bigger with scale. If you put $20,000 into this, you would profit over $40,000. Let's just do 5 years. This is like, that's, I don't think people understand. This is life changing. 2,000%, bro. I'm not even gonna sit here and do that, bro. I'm not even gonna sit here and do that. So I'm gonna go type in percentage calculator. What that thing say? I'm gonna just do 2,000. 2,000% of $1,000. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm kind of sick. I got some Nvidia stock, but I didn't have it 5 years ago. I'm 25, like, so, you know, I'm learning. But, and I've been learning for a while now, but I didn't know 5 years ago. I'm just saying, bro. 2,000%. If you put in 1,000, you would, bruh, you would have $20,000. If you put in 1,000, I'm just telling you how crazy the semiconductor industry is. If you put in $2,000. If you put in 1,000, you would have just off Nvidia. I ain't even do the whole thing. I'm just do 2,600. That's what it say, right? 2,600% in the last 5 years. Come on, bro. $26,000 off 1,000. Life changing money. I'm kind of sick. I don't know how many times I said that, but I'm sick. Just do 5,000. All right, man. I'm done. 130, bro. I'm sick. Oh, y'all didn't see that? What? Dang, I'm at 34 minutes. I'm at 34 minutes. Gosh. Okay. All right. So I explained to you what the ETFs were, how to invest in it. You could do an individual stock, or you could do individual ETFs. Did I show you how to find them though? Each ETF kind of caters to different things. So you have a different semiconductor ETF. One is called SOX, right? And what you want to, even if you go to SOX, we can look at the stats for SOX. Over the last 5 years, 180%. But when you get into these ETFs, you want to look at the holdings. You want to make sure you align, you like those companies that is holding. Which you're going to figure out most of these all hold kind of the same thing, but it's weighted different. You can see on this one called SOX, SOXX, Nvidia is only 10%. Broadcom is 8%. AMD is 8%. Versus the other one, you see TSM here. TSM is only 4% in this ETF, right? So it's just different. Then you have some of them called SMHX. Now the X, what is it says these are fabless only semiconductor companies. So these companies, this is not a focus on innovation over manufacturing. So in this ETF, they focusing more so on the design and innovated, not the fabric, not the fabrication or the manufacturing or the equipment side of it or the semiconductors, right? So you probably not gonna see it here. Well, that'd be crazy not to see it. But I'm gonna say the ASML and the TSMC part will probably be low in here. I'm just guessing, right? So this is weighted 20% Nvidia. Remember I showed y'all the ecosystem. So this is gonna come all from here. No manufacturing equipment should probably be in this. This is a different one, SMHX. So you got Nvidia at 20%, AVGO 13%, A-Lab 9%, Marvell 5%. You see, AMD 4%. That's how this one is weighted. So this is still weighted heavy in Nvidia, but it's a different. You see different. I'm gonna put these side by side so you can see. Semiconductor ecosystem. Dang, hold on. Wow, I wish I could put everything up here. Dang, it's not gonna let me do side by side. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Man, I hope I ain't messed that junk up. Lord, help me. Okay. Anyways, I hope that makes sense to somebody, man. And if you want to find a semiconductor ETF, go straight on Google and type in semiconductor ETFs. You can even type in best semiconductor ETF. What do I recommend? I recommend that SMH. I'm not gonna lie. That SMH, the 7 best, whatever. Cool. Now you take these, right? You take these, then you go look them up yourself. SOX, SOXX, SMH, SMHX. You go look at these yourself. And you go see how they're weighted. And you go see, does that cater to what you're interested in? And then you go look at the past performance. And then you go make some money. As simple as that, man. I hope this was a one-on-one crash course to them semiconductors. You should know what semiconductors are, why they're important to not only you, but the whole global world, why they are in the news so much, causing so much geopolitical tension. You should know how to start investing in semiconductors. You should know different ecosystems or different parts of the semiconductor industry after finishing this video. I like to do that because you know, back in school when you used to read the chapter, you're like, okay, what did I learn? Then you got the questions at the chapter. After reading this chapter, you should know. I just gave you that. If you can't answer that, you need to go back and watch. Studied it. Oh, man. Hey, yo, that's the goof. Hey, yo. Anyways, if you can't answer that, go back and look at this. If you're still here, I appreciate you watching. I know you learned something, so go ahead and drop the like. That's the least you could do. I just sat here and explained this to you and broke it down to you like a little kid. You can at least do that. You can at least do that. You watching, you can at least do that. I just potentially set your grandkids up or your kids up for their future. Instead of buying that kid some shoes this week or for Christmas, spending all that money on unnecessary Christmas gifts that he's going to grow out of anyway, they ain't even going to remember. What if you put $202 or $500 or $150, even $50 a week or $200 for Christmas into one SMH for him? Into one SMH stock, until one Nvidia stock. If I just showed you SMH in 5 years did two, I ain't talking no more, bro. If I just showed you, look how that just popped, bro. Nvidia stock in 5 years did 2,000%. I'm not promising it's going to do another 2,000, but I know it's going to do something because I just explained to you how it's the most promising thing in the world. You cannot function without semiconductors. The world is only getting more technologically advanced. And if you have a little kid and you put $200 in here, and let's say you did, you know what, boy, I'm about to hurt your feelings. I'm about to hurt mine too. Well, I ain't got no kids, so I'm good. But I'm about to hurt my own feelings again. Cause interest calculator. If you put, instead of putting all that money into throwaway stuff, let's just say, bro, I'm trying to find a good one, bro. Why I can't just go back to that one I was on though? Like, let me see, bro. I'm just typing in stock interest calculator stuff. Golly, yo. Investment calculator. There we go. You put $300 in that thing. If you'd have put $300, bro, let's just do, this is so hard, man. I wish I could find that other one. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I'm confusing y'all like this, yo. I gotta go find that other one. PercentageCalculator.net. That's what you need. Look at the website right here. PercentageCalculator.net. You see it. Right? Anyways, if you just gave that kid $300, what is three? I told you that thing is 2,600%. And if you put $300 in this, if you did this for your kid would have $7,800. Mind you, that $7,800 is a lot of money. That's something he's going to use versus them $200, $300 shoes you done got on there he's going to grow out of and blow up next week. I'm just saying. This is, again, to create awareness, to get you to think. I'm done talking, man. If you have any comments, questions, or anything else you want me to address pertaining to that you might want me to talk about, if I know about it, I'll talk about it. If I don't, I'm going to research it and then talk about it. And then show y'all while I research it. Because one thing about me, dang, this 42 minutes, bro. I'm gone, bro. I done talked too much. Anyway, hopefully I know you got something from this.